Hello, today for review I've got a pretty fresh, recently released Sennheiser MOMENTUM for wireless, their new version of their wireless flagship. Not so long ago I already reviewed the updated true wireless flagship, and now it's time for the full-size headphones. During the review of true wireless model I already noticed that Sennheiser found proper ideas in terms of design change and positioning, so I was really curious, will they be able to persist with these improvements in the full-size headphones. And today I have them for the loaner and can tell about them. So the target price is $350, which is, if I remember correctly, $50 less than Sony's newest XM series flagship. Unfortunately, I didn't test Sony, so I can't say anything about the comparisons, but here Sennheiser offers a lot of interesting features. Probably the most interesting is 60 hours of work time. I'm not sure about 60, but they work really long, so I test them for about 30 hours already, and they far from being fully drained battery. And that's taking into account that it's not like some companies do measurements in the wired connection mode on the lowest volume. No, it's with active noise cancelling and other stuff. So as you can see, they highlighted some features. In terms of codecs, they support only aptX, but luckily they support aptX adaptive, so that means that they will receive pretty good sound quality. It's not surprisingly that Sony didn't license LDAC for them. Actually, let's have a closer look. Package is simple and pretty straightforward. I like that idea in terms of in the design. It's just basic cardboard in the signature blue-white design with product photo on top. It opens just to the top, and here we're getting the case with earphones and all accessories. So no attempts to create some super premium package or something like that. I like it. As you can see, they changed design of case a little bit. It's made of fabric and feels pretty pleasant in hand, pretty hard, so protecting headphones that are inside pretty well. Opening it, we're getting a bit more. Yeah, opening it, we're getting access to headphones themselves, USB Type A to USB Type C cable, airplane adapter, and the regular audio cable. What is good here, you actually can listen them in the wired mode without battery. So if by some wonder you run out of battery, they will still be operational in the wired mode. So, in terms of design, of course, they look simpler comparing to the previous generation. Gun is metal, gun is rich fox leather. Here they use more practical materials. So, more plastic, a bit of fabric here, and fox leather on the headband and on the earpods. But what I like is that they deliver a really good wearing comfort. Everything is soft where it needs to be soft and distribute weight really well. They have a really nice headband that has a proper clamping force, so headphones hold well on your head and don't try to fall down when you shake your head. And at the same time they don't push too hard. And I like the sense of touch to this headband material, and I like how it distributes weight. Cups rotate in 2 dimensions, providing better fit. Unfortunately, there is no possibility to fold them inside for compact storage, so you'll have to fold them flat and store in case, carrying them with you. And earpods are pretty comfortable, really soft. My ears fitting fully here without touching it somewhere. Passive sound isolation is like average, but active noise cancelling is pretty decent. Maybe it's not on the Sony level, and it's definitely slightly worse than Bose quiet comfort, but it's a step forward compared to the previous model. So here they reduce low frequency noise better, they are better in cancelling some random sounds, so step forward. Maybe it's not the best model in this aspect, but definitely one of the best. And it works really good with music, and in the quiet environment it's also pretty okay. When you don't listen to music, just want to use them for noise cancelling, it's also pretty okay. They have sensor controls, what I like also here. You swipe top, up, down to change the volume, swipe forward, backward to navigate tracks, and if I remember right, you can pinch to change the active noise cancelling modes. Also, there are LED indicators that show charge and multifunctional button. Lot of different microphones, slot for charging, and of course 2.5mm socket to connect them in the wired mode. So in terms of design, model is pretty practical, feels really well done. Of course, not something super rich, but for super rich, for example, for Apple or Bauer and Wilkins, you have to pay much more. Also, I must admit that they hold connection really well. I didn't have any issues with connections using them on the go with my iPhone and with FIO M11 Plus that I used as a transport. Here is our traditional microphone test. I'm recording this part of the video with headphones on my head using their built-in microphones. I won't apply gain correction or equalization here, so it will give you an idea on how their microphones sound. Here is a companion app, pretty traditional for this type of applications. You can see the headphones themselves and model name. Here you can manage their connections. Actually, it even scans Bluetooth around me, allowing to connect to some other device. Equalizer is basically 3 bands, so bass, mid and treble. You can change them, you can save it as custom presets, and also it has bass boost and podcast. So names speaks for themselves, and some predefined presets. Not too much to tweak the sound, but basically it will satisfy basic needs. Sound check is interesting feature. It will allow you to tweak the sound. It basically offers some different presets. You select the one that you like most, and in such manner you'll find the way of sound you like most of all. But it requires creating Sennheiser account, and that I really don't want to do now. Sound zones is that another useless feature that all companies add. It's when they detect location with the help of smartphone, of course, and changing presets based on your location. So you can have one preset for work, other for gym, third for home, but honestly, I don't see much sense in that. Here is active noise cancellation. You can select automatic pause music in transparent mode, for example, if you want to talk to someone, and wind noise reduction you can change additionally, and also you can change the amount of active noise cancelling you'd like to have, maximum or minimum, and transparency. And actually there is adaptive mode that determines the level of active noise cancelling based on the noise outside. And the side tone is a really good feature. When you have some phone call, you will hear, you can activate it and hear yourself, so you won't be screaming too much. Discovered some news for Sennheiser, and here in settings you can select different additional settings. So update firmware, select audio codec, model name, and you can select what parts you will hear in this menu. So basic, straightforward, and works pretty well. And of course about the sound. You know, my experience is a bit limited in this area, and I didn't test a lot of high-end wireless headphones, but so far I can say simple, it's the best wireless sound I've heard in the full-size headphones. Sennheiser did a lot of things right here. They create some digital signal processor that reconstructs the signal, allowing better extension on both ends comparing to the regular wireless headphones. They managed to find the proper tuning that is from one hand fun, but from another hand pretty detailed and not too overcolored. And when I'm saying detailed or anything like that, keep in mind that it's of course for the wireless models. It's no comparison with wired models still. So I will be describing the sound based on comparing with other wireless models. And actually they found proper tuning and it sounds engaging, but at the same time with good amount of overtones actually, and delivering a lot of things right. So they're technical but not boring. And actually, let's start from the low frequencies. They go pretty deep, maybe not to the maximum depth, but deeper than other full-size headphones. They have nice deep bass, pretty solid, but at the same time they're not bass head. They're not shadowing everything with low frequencies. Bass sound really solid, really firm, with perfect balance between speed and weight, and even with nice saturation with overtones. So you'll get a pretty enjoyable experience with acoustic instruments, for example, with double bass, and it will sound pretty fun with electronic music, with something that depends on the synthesized low frequencies. But at least to my taste, maybe someone who listens to hip-hop or electronic music will prefer more bass, but for me amount here is just perfect. And as an example, actually here is Shine by Juno Reactor. Nice saturated bass and perfect contrast between the low frequencies and creative mids and treble that is typical for the Juno Reactor. Mid frequencies are emotional, they have good saturation with small nuances, but of course not to be compared with wired models. But still amount of details is really good, they sound on their own place, they're not highlighting micro contrast, but they are good in representing macro dynamics and emotions. Imagery stage is slightly above average in width and in depth, but of course not the most spacious, but it's typical for the wireless closed back headphones. So anyway, they managed to build a pretty pleasant 3D positioning. Of course, they're lacking depth layering compared to some wired models from the similar price segment. But still everything is pretty well separated and in width. And as an example for the mid frequencies, it's Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles. I really like this remastered version for Cirque du Soleil. And here violins, vocals, everything is pretty fun and engaging and sounds really emotional with these headphones. Treble is slightly accented, but not too much. It gives a bit of additional spiciness on top of everything, and at the same time it's not overdone. Extension is slightly above average, but noticeably better than in other full-size wireless headphones I've tested. And of course they're lacking layering, they're lacking proper attacks and decays, but still sounds really pleasant and enjoyable. So not audiophilic, but enjoyable model. And here is as an example, it's Whiplash soundtrack, Fletcher's song in club. Nice cymbals here, good keyboard part, and everything goes to the treble area. Of course they're lacking layering for this track, but still it sounds pretty pleasant and airy. And speaking about the comparisons, actually two models I have. Let's start with previous generations of Sennheiser. Actually here is a noticeable step forward in terms of overtone saturation, in terms of deeper bass presentation. Here it's slightly better defined, and it sounds slightly more engaging, but still I think that here we're getting a well, not a big but noticeable step forward. It's not night and day difference, and if you have a third generation of Sennheiser model, of course there is not much sense in rushing for upgrade, but if you'll have an opportunity, definitely just try listening to them. It's a good improvement. Apple AirPods Pro, actually, in terms of sound, this one is more natural, more refined, more defined, so better. Well, difference also isn't huge, but definitely noticeable. Apple, of course, has better microphones, a bit better compatibility with Apple devices, more premium design, but they cost noticeably more. And Bose Quiet Comfort that I've tested, what was it, Quiet Comfort 45, if I remember right the name of that model. So Bose are more highlighted in terms of upper, mids and treble, but they don't lacking this rich bass here, definitely. Here you'll get more lively representation and more engaging tuning overall. But from another hand, Bose will offer you better active noise cancelling if you need this. So, to summarize everything, Sennheiser did a great job and they released a really good model. I'd really like to get a new version of Sony to test to understand why everyone is raving about. We'll see, will I succeed in this. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a nice day.